Hey guys, what's going on? And welcome to today's video for Legends of Runeterra. My name is Zenatan. I don't know why my intro sounded so weird like that. Curse my voice. Anyway, but yeah, welcome to today's video for Legends of Runeterra. My name is Zenatan, and spoiler season is continuing. We have a new champion today. Was leaked a little bit by somewhere. I don't actually know what part of what community leaked it, but like a non-English community leaked Pike. But I decided to wait until we got the official English translation to make this video because while people were able to translate it, I thought it wouldn't look as good for the video if I didn't use the official versions of Pike. And plus we got some other cards besides Pike too. Pike is really good in my opinion. He got tied to Lurk, but I still think he's really good. So, enough rambling. Let's go look at Pike. We have a lot of cards today, too. We have some Demacia cards and some Ionia cards as well. I think one of each as well, besides the Bilgewater cards we have today. But we'll start with Pike. So, Pike is a 4-mana 2/3. He has Lurk, and he is a Lurker himself. He also has Quick Attack. Okay, pretty small stat line for a 4-drop. Is the initial impression. Sure, he has Lurk, so he can grow, but his health is always going to be the same outside of buffs. That's a little fragile for a 4-drop. So, do you do anything powerful, Pike? When I Lurk, transform me into Death from Below. Death from Below is a 4-mana fast spell, also has Lurk on it. Summon Pike, striking an enemy. That's a pretty powerful spell. Basically, sort of like an ambush style card, which is very thematic for Pike. Very, very, very big fan of his, well, it's not his champ spell, but this spell, Death from Below. To level up Pike, allied Pikes have to deal 15 plus damage. That's a lot of damage, but I do like that Death from Below and Pike in his unit form, champion form, whatever you want to call it, do work towards leveling him up. I just worry it's going to be really slow and difficult to level up. Now, granted, the progress you make with your first Pike does carry over to the second Pike, so that's good. And I will say this, I think it's fine that it seems, at least initially, it seems difficult to level up Pike, because leveled up Pike is a beast. Leveled up Pike is pretty much the same thing, 4-mana 3/4 now instead of a 2/3. Lurker, so he has Lurk, and he has Quick Attack like before. And he still does the whole transforming into Death from Below when you lurk, or when he lurks. But he got an insanely powerful extra line of text. Now he says, when I kill an enemy, I strike the weakest enemy. So you could, in theory, do some crazy chains where he kills an enemy, he strikes the weakest enemy, kills that weakest enemy, and then does a chain killing the entire enemy board. And of course, he doesn't have to kill an enemy outside of combat. He can use his champion spell, which is Bone Skewer. He can do it through Death from Below. There's a lot of ways to get vulnerable in Bilgewater. I do think, while Pike seems to be limited by the Lurker mechanic, I do think Pike is strong enough to at least help Bilgewater a lot. And Bilgewater needs it. I feel like Pike is going to be similar to Ionia. Before Ionia came out, or sorry, before did I say Ionia? Irelia is what I meant. Before Irelia came out, Ionia was kind of a mediocre region. It had like Lee Sin and to a lesser extent Shen, but outside of that and maybe like Deny, it wasn't really a popular region and it didn't see much play. Bilgewater is kind of in that situation. Now, I think Pike will increase Bilgewater's play rate, but he's not really going to help out the other cards. He's not really going to help out Twisted Fate. He's not really helping out Nautilus, Gangplank, and all of them. But I think this is really good. I look at Pike the way I look at Kindred. If Kindred gets going, they're able to really, really go off. However, Pike comes down a turn earlier and actually does a lot more than Kindred. So I'm a much bigger fan of Pike over Kindred, and I really like Kindred, in all honesty. Plus, Pike, compared to Kindred, has a good champ spell. Bone Skewer, we already know about it. I don't need to talk about Bone Skewer too much. It's already in the game. Bone Skewer has proven its worth in Deep and how good it is. So while Bone Skewer outside of Deep wasn't really an amazing thing, it's seen some fringe play in some weird decks, like some Zillion, like Shurima Bilgewater decks to basically put Zillion back on top of the deck to replay Zillion to get more time bombs. It has potential. We know Bone Skewer is good. Uh, Compared to, I don't even know the name of it, but whatever the name is of Kindred's 5-mana spell is, which is basically trash. Pyke is both a good card. He actually seems to do something. He has keywords. He has keywords that are good, not just quick attack like Kindred. Lurk is nice. The Lurker's synergy is good. The whole death from below shenanigans you can do is great, and a good champ spell. Great package. And plus, unlike Kindred, who when she levels up, Kindred's level up isn't that spectacular. It's like, cool, +2/+2. That doesn't really matter. Pyke's level up turns him into basically a must answer unit. If you don't remove Pyke quickly when he levels up, you're gonna be in for a bad time. You're gonna be getting like your boards removed and all kinds of stuff, and you're just gonna lose the game from the value that a leveled up Pyke will bring. Huge fan of Pyke. Now, I do like that Pyke seems to tie together Lurk just like Rek'Sai. I like that Pyke's makes it so that it doesn't seem like you have to go really aggressive with Lurkers. The Lurker deck now seems like you can make it into a mid-range kind of deck, a little bit proactive, not necessarily really aggressive, but a little bit curvy, try to gain tempo and hold on to that tempo kind of deck. I will say this, the one negative I see of Pyke, or about Pyke, besides the whole, like, he's stuck in the Lurker synergy camp, he feels like a card who needs tempo. He feels like a card that if you're behind, he's not going to help you catch up. He doesn't play well from behind. He feels like you need to be at least on par or more desired ahead of your enemy. And if you're not, he's not really helping you. Like, sure, I guess Bone Skewer, and if you can transform him into Death from Below, those will help you out, but as a unit, Pyke's not really bringing you back if you're far behind. And also, I guess, like, Pyke is a little small. I said this earlier. He is a little small for a 4-drop. 3 health is really small. Big, like, really big stats, big attack, but not so big health. But quick attack's not amazing. What's his name? Yasuo used to be a 4-3 with quick attack, and eventually they buffed into a 4-4, and he's still not amazing, in all honesty, but going from 3 to 4 health was nice, so you don't die to get excited, so that's nice. Also, I guess Gotcha, it's not that popular, but whatever. That's the only thing I'm really worried about Pyke, is that he does seem a little fragile for a 4 cost, and plus, when Yasuo was a 4-3 with quick attack, Hush didn't exist. Hush is still a thing now. Pyke getting hushed does look a little scary, but I think it's fine. But yeah, anyway, though, I do think Pyke is strong. I think he's a very solid champion. Pyke Rek'Sai is how I'm going to first try out Pyke, because they kind of just play well together. But yeah, seems really good when you're even or at least ahead of your opponent. Looks a little bad if you're behind your opponent, which is kind of how a lot of mid-rangey tempo cards look in general. Anyway, that's all for Pyke. Those are all the Pyke cards. We have another, I think 4 or so cards to look at. So let's look at them. Okay, 3 cards. One of them's technically an ability from one of the cards. First up, another Bilgewater card, and it's a lurker too, so it has lurk. We have Jawlfish, or however you pronounce this thing. I like this card. I don't think it's OP. I've seen a lot of people say it's OP, namely people on Reddit. I'm gonna, in my honest opinion, go in the other direction. I don't think it's trash. I don't think it's garbage. I do think it is playable. I just feel like this is gonna be a card that kind of gets cut from decks depending on the meta. I look at this kind of like Shipwreck Hoarder. Like, yes, it's some nice late game, really good to play, but it's really expensive. Now, unlike Shipwreck Hoarder, this does a lot. 8 mana, 2/7, really big stats. It's a lurker, so you'll have lurked, so it's probably going to be bigger. So let's say you got like 4 lurks, so 8 mana, 6/7, pretty decent. Pretty fairly big for its cost. No other keyword, no like tough, lifesteal, regeneration, or anything, so that's a little mediocre, but that's fine. Playability. Each lurker ally strikes a random enemy. Now, I don't know, because I don't exactly know how this is going to work. But random, first off, is really bad, but it's still fine, I think. But I'm just wondering if this means, like, if one of your lurkers strikes and kills a unit, does that mean another lurker, before the jawfish finishes its ability, could another lurker strike that basically 0 health unit? I'm not 100% sure if it will. Or in other words, while the jawfish's strikes and all the lurker strikes are going off, will a dead enemy unit be removed from the board so you can only strike things that are still alive? Again, I don't know. Even then, it still seems like a good card. I look at this card like Riptide Rex. That's what I like to compare this card to. I feel like it's gonna be a card. You're gonna be playing a mid-rangey kind of deck. You're gonna be fighting for the board, and then before, that's how that would work. You would be fighting for the board and stuff. Your opponent would be like doing a little back and forth. You would maybe have some units. You would play Riptide Rex. You would get really far ahead thanks to Riptide Rex. That's how I'm looking at how Jawfish is gonna work. You are gonna be like trying to fight for the board with your lurkers and stuff. You'll get some lurks off, maybe even have a pike on the board, which would be really good because this also works towards leveling up pike. But then you play Jawfish, you get some of your enemy's stuff removed, and you're happy. And of course, because you're probably playing pike with Jawfish, this is a great bone skewer target. You bone skewer this, put it back to the top of the deck, replay it. Insane. Some people have tried that with Riptide Rex to bone skewer Riptide Rex. It wasn't terrible, but it just was a little slow. And that is exactly why I'm not on I think this is an OP kind of card that needs a nerf train that a lot of other players are on. And that is, it's 8 mana. It's really expensive. 8 mana cards, especially in the current meta, we're in a really fast meta, are really tough to play. Even like King of the 8 drops, Captain Farron, in my opinion, is the best 8 drop. Even he's only like a 1 or 2 of in Ezreal Draven decks. So I think this card's going to be played in lurker decks, but only as like a 1 or 2 of. I will say this is a nice card to get from a Rek'Sai when she levels up. So that's pretty nice. It will help you finish off the game. Ezreal Draven players probably hate seeing this because it makes the 8 mana slot for Tri-Beam a little bit worse. But I think this card is decent, but I don't think it's OP. I think it is a 1 to 2 of, maybe even a 3 of, depending on the meta. Very meta-dependent card, very powerful ability, but you're going to have to evaluate the meta and how many of these you want in your deck. And I don't think 3 is the right answer. I think 1, maybe 2, if you're a little greedy, is the correct answer at the moment. But who knows how the meta is going to turn out with the new set. Now then, we don't have to talk about that. That is Frenzied Feast. Next card, Swift Wing Flight. Demacia card, 4 mana, 3/2, Challenger. Okay, a little small for a 4-drop. Play, create a Fleet Feather Tracker, Blinding Assault, or Silver Wing Vanguard in hand. Basically, all the birds. Fleet Feather Tracker is the 1 mana, 2/1 that says when you summon another ally, it gets Challenger. Blinding Assault is the Summon Valor spell. Silver Wing Vanguard is the, I believe, is a 4 mana, 2/1 that summons a copy of itself. It's also an elite. This card's also an elite. This card also says when it attacks, give other challenging allies +1/+1 this round. Because of the wording, I think it will also give +1/+1 to allies that don't have Challenger, but are still challenging units. So basically, things that are attacking vulnerable units, in other words, things that challenged vulnerable units. And it will not give +1/+1 to units that have Challenger, but they didn't challenge anything in general. So this card is really tough, in my opinion, to evaluate. I like that it seems to be, it's not really payoff, but it is another elite. So the elite decks, the elite players, like all 4 of them are probably happy. They're like, oh boy, another elite. Will this make elites work? I don't think this will make elites work. I really don't know about this card. I really don't know how to evaluate this card. I don't know what kind of deck wants this kind of card. Yes, it's giving you a card right away when you summon it. So even if your opponent Mystic Shots this card, it's like, okay, at the very least, I got a card, but I just don't know. It doesn't, you're not really, it's not really going to challenge something and live because of the 2 health. It only buffs your other stuff. It doesn't buff itself, and it only buffs things if they're challenging. So, like, I guess, like, Laurent Protege into Swiftwing Flight's a cute curve. Fleet Feather Tracker into banking 2 mana, maybe, into Laurent Protege into Swiftwing Flight. Seems cute. It can buff up Fiora, too, which is nice, but I'd rather just play more spells than this thing than playing this in my Fiora deck, so I don't think this card is playable, in my opinion. It's cute, it's cool. I just don't think it's good enough for any deck. I don't think any kind of deck wants this card. Maybe in the future, if there's more elite payoff, you'll play this, because it is, on paper, a decent card. It gives you a card. The Silverwing Vanguard it creates is also an elite, if I remember correctly. And it's an elite itself, so maybe for a hypothetical elite deck in the future. But for now, I don't think it's playable. Next card. Sacred Protector. It's a 7 mana 8/6. Allies with Barrier have double attack. Play, draw Shen. It's basically a boat, and I'm going to keep calling it a boat, even though it's technically not a boat and it's more of a tree, but I'm going to call it a boat. It's Shen boat. Shen got a boat before Yasuo. I wish Yasuo had a boat, but whatever. Cool? I'm not too impressed by this, in all honesty. Like, yeah, a Shen boat, like, drawing a card's nice, but the problem is, here's the thing. I feel like I'd rather just play things like Brightsteel formation in a Shen deck as my late game. Like, sure, you can say, like, you can play this and Brightsteel, but you're starting to run into the problems of too much late game, not enough early and mid game. I just don't think this card's good enough. I really just, like, sure, the double attack's annoying and scary, but I don't know. I just don't think it's good, if that makes sense. Like, it's a big fancy is not even the right word, but it's a big powerful effect, but it just doesn't do enough. Like, look at the other boats that are played. How many of the boats are even played a lot? In all honesty, none of them really at the moment because of Equinox from Target. But Leviathan is seen play. Dreadway has seen a little bit of play, and Tusk Raider, I think that's the name of the Sejuani boat, has seen a little bit of play. And then you have the worst boat, in my opinion, is the Siren. I would say, in terms of playability, this is more playable than the Siren, but this is probably only on the playability level of Tusk Raider, in my opinion. It doesn't really do much on its own. Like, look at Leviathan. Leviathan puts your opponent on a clock, which it synergizes well, like really well, with Swain being able to stun the opponent's board. Like, sure, this has some synergy with Shen, but it's not a crazy good game-winning lockdown kind of synergy on its own with just those 2 cards. This card needs more than just Shen. It needs other units with Barrier. So I don't know. Now, granted, the one time you do have this and then Brightsteel formation on the board, yeah, it'll be crazy, but like, that's not happening too often, in my opinion. It's like, cool. I just think it's not a playable card in general. Like, first off, Shen doesn't really go into too many decks. He goes in like maybe Shen Jarvan, Shen J4 I would have said like Shen Fiora a few months ago, but Fiora got nerfed and Fiora's pretty much gone. So yeah, I don't like this card. I don't think it's good enough. I would have preferred to see something like this for Yasuo, obviously changing the text, but you know, a Yasuo boat, in other words. I just don't think this card's good enough. I don't think this will save Shen. Like, it's cool, but it doesn't do anything. Anyway, that's all the cards today. Not much else. Not really anything else to talk about. So Pike looks cool. I like Jawfish, even though I think it's going to be only like a 1 or 2 of, like a Captain Farron style, Riptide Rex style card. Swift Wing Flight, it's I just don't think a Demacia deck wants it. Same with Sacred Protector for Ionia. But I do like the Pike cards. Pike cards look really fun. And I like them. Sacred Protector, in my opinion, a little too win more of a style card. Swift Wing Flight, I just don't think has a home. Maybe I'm wrong, though. Maybe you think Pike's garbage. Maybe you think Sacred Protector and Swift Wing Flight are nuts. I'd love to hear your reasons why down below. If you just enjoyed the video in general, I'd love it if you could leave a comment or a like down below, of course, as well. And if you guys want to keep up with the Legends of Runeterra content, you can always go and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Always helps me out. And if you want to watch me play some Legends of Runeterra, you can always go and check me out on Twitch TV at twitch.tv/Senaton. I stream there pretty much every single day. Anyway, though, with that all said and done, thank you all once more for watching this video. And until I see you guys in the next one, bye?